What are we doing here, Miss Audrey?
Today we're going to be cutting, showing kids how to cut. And my name's Audrey, and this is my mommy, Chris.
All right. Now, do you remember when you first started cutting?
Yeah.
Yeah? Did you cut with this great big knife all by yourself?
No. You should start with a small knife like this one.
We even have a kid knife, don't we? Do you remember when you started with your kid knife?
You could also buy this one at a store to use to cut.
Yeah.
It's a very easy one to start out with.
These are very nice. These are by Curious Chef. They also, you can buy the Bed Bath & Beyond knives that are made for cutting lettuce. They're very similar. If you don't want to spend money on an extra knife, you can just use a butter knife. It pretty much cuts the same. And it gets children used to cutting, used to the act of cutting and safety. Okay, I am going to cut off the tip of this carrot right here, the icky ends. And I'm going to give this to you. Do you remember when we used to cut? What would you do when we first practiced cutting?
We would cut slowly.
Do you remember putting your hand there?
Yeah.
And Mama putting her hand over it? You want to show how? Here, you put your hand there the way you used to. And we started, here, move this hand away, please. We started like this, where Audrey just got used to what it was like to cut. The activity. She would watch Mama. Okay. Now, I'm going to go ahead and keep the great big knife. What do we call this knife?
A cutting knife.
A big cutting knife. I thought you had a name for it.
Oh, we call it Cheeto.
Cheeto, that's right. We call it Cheeto. Okay. Now, Audrey has a paring knife, and she's practicing safety. She's keeping her hands away. And that might be a little bit tough. Would you like to start with the celery? Oops.
Yeah.
Let's have you start with the celery. Here's an icky part from the celery being in the fridge too long. Why don't you start with that? So really you have to be careful and try to match the skill of the child with the activity. And this is where just a lot of practice comes in handy. We started cutting pretty much when Audrey first got into the kitchen when she was 2. And how old are you now, Audrey?
6.
6. She just turned 6 last week. So she's seen modeling of good cutting skills. Audrey, do you remember, did Mama tell you what we were cutting today, what we were making?
No.
No, this is called mirepoix. Can you say mirepoix?
Mirepoix.
Mirepoix, that's right. And you're putting yours in the container, but actually we're going to put it all back out here, and we're going to chop it all up into little bitty pieces when we're done. Now this mirepoix is something that Mama uses to flavor recipes a lot. So a lot of times we just cut up. It really doesn't matter what kind of pieces things are in. These are kind of bigger pieces. Now I'm going to cut up a little bit of onion. Do you want to turn your head the other way for a minute?
Yeah.
Yeah, Audrey doesn't like onion cut up. You don't mind the taste of it, do you?
I love the taste of it.
Yeah, she just doesn't like the way it makes her eyes feel. Okay, now, Miss Audrey, I'm going to get this mirepoix together. Let's move this stuff of yours and have you help me. Okay? I'm going to move this cutting board over in front of you.
Could could you cut up the onion real quick?
Okay, let's get the onion away from you. We'll cut it up separate. Usually I cut it all up together.
But I do not like onion.
No, you do not like the onion.
Cut up. I can take the carrots out.
No, it's okay. Mama will cut it up. Okay. All right. Now what we're going to do, and this is more modeling, and this is just where Audrey hasn't gotten to this skill level yet, where I feel comfortable with her hand in the way. So I'm just going to hold on to the tip of the knife so it stays down. And this is going to allow us to cut up the mirepoix into smaller chunks. But this is a good way to practice with your young chef in order to get her ready. Okay, hold on. Our
Or
cutting,
he.
or he, get him ready. Yeah. Our cutting board's moving around a little bit. Well, let's not have your hand in the way. All right, Miss Audrey, let's go ahead and put this in the container. And this is ready for when we're going to make our mirepoix.